Nostalgia. It is a confusing concept that is deeply rooted in our society, especially today, with everything and everyone, in some way, shape, or form, trying to do whatever they can to make the world come to a cataclysmic end. This has led to an increased culture shift of people wanting to constantly find ways to escape the present and into another time, but what about the past makes it so appealing that people want to always stay there? Well, that is what I will be discussing throughout this documentary. The narrative that I would go for throughout this documentary is Act 1 would be discussing what nostalgia is and the origins of it, and some facts and statistics about it. Act 2 would be the further exploration of different people's experiences with feelings of nostalgia and what triggers them to have it, as well as discussing the phenomenon of anemoia, the concept of having nostalgia for a time you never lived in. I would have these interviews be interspliced with B-roll footage of people playing in arcades. I would also discuss the effects of living in the past and whether it is healthy or not to do so. Act 3 would be a tie-up of everything and a summary, as well as give a personal anecdote about my experiences with nostalgia and how it has affected me and my life. For the interviews with the general public, I would have them be done out on the street or inside establishments, so long as I could get permission to do them there. This would be so the people would be as comfortable as possible, because if the people aren't comfortable, then they won't be willing to give answers to my questions. I would want to steer away from reenactments, but I would include them if they could be made relevant to what people were saying, such as if people are talking about their childhoods and playing in arcades, then I would be able to do reenactments of that. During the reenactments, I would have people wear the types of colour palettes that people would have worn, for example the 2000s, to help with the authenticity of the scenes. Due to the subject matter, I would be using locations like arcades to show the contrast between what people remember life being like and what life in the present is like. I would also use colour grading to further exemplify the contrast between the perception of the past, bright, warm, cheerful, colourful, and the present, grey, cold, dull, and depressing. However, I would also show visuals of the countryside to show that there is still some peace left in the world, even when it seems like everything is going to hell. I will also be wanting to talk about how the media has impacted how we view the times we live in now and how it makes people feel about the past. When it comes to the B-roll for these sections, I would have it be people watching/listening to sections of the most popular media that exists today, such as the news, AI videos, and music, and then having them watch media that is from the 70s to the 2000s and see how they compare watching the media of today makes them feel compared to the media of yesteryear. The points I would want to get answers for throughout this documentary are as follows. Has the modern world influenced an increase in people having nostalgia? How different is our perception of history from what actually happened in reality? Do people consciously cherry pick from what they remember about their past? Do people just have nostalgia for times in their own lives or in the past further back from when they lived? What makes people have nostalgia? Is constantly living in the past healthy? This is where I would tell a short anecdote about my experiences with nostalgia and how it has personally affected me in my life, and whether I believe that having such a nostalgic outlook on life is what I want, or whether I want to change it to focus more on the present moment than always looking in the past.